بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله الحمد لله الحمد لله الذي نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأن محمدًا عبده ورسوله أما بعد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم Alhamdulillah, we are gathered here today for the Jummah prayer on the best of days, on the best of the days of the week, and very close to the month of Ramadan. Allahumma barik lana fi Rajab wa Sha'ban wa ballighna Ramadan ya Allah. Alhamdulillah, we are thankful that Allah has given us the guidance to come to the masjid, to come to the house of Allah, and to worship Him and Him alone. And we shall ever be thankful to Him for granting us this guidance. I begin today, as it often happens, to speak about the atrocities in Sri Lanka, unfortunately. And we should be talking about Ramadan and being in a festive mood, truly anticipating its arrival and making preparations for it. And I'm sorry to be talking about a sad topic, but inshallah we should also address Ramadan. But we have an obligation, we have a responsibility to recognize what has happened and to absolutely condemn without the shadow of a doubt what has happened. And we have a responsibility in particular because part of what has happened, it appears, is a response or revenge. And therefore, we must respond, we must speak, we cannot remain silent. And we cannot remain silent while people hijack this religion away from the peaceful one that it is. We had reports a few days ago of multiple bombings in multiple areas, multiple churches, multiple hotels, and the number going up to around 390. And what we saw today is that the number has come down, according to the officials, down to 253. And just this fact should communicate to you the brutality and the mercilessness that these people had. The reason that the number came down, according to the officials, is that the bodies were so mutilated that they were double counting them, and that is why the number was so high. So once they cross-referenced using DNA and all of the evidence, the official number stands at 253. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ has said, I repeat, I love this hadith and I repeat it again because of its sheer beauty and its importance. He has said, none of you shall enter paradise until he is a believer. And none of you is a believer until he loves for his brother what he loves for himself. And so I ask our community, when we were struck with grief in New Zealand, did we not honor our dead? Then shall we not also do the same for our Christian community, for our Christian brothers and sisters? Please forgive me and bear with me. We took our time to grieve, and we took our time to recognize the victims of the atrocities in New Zealand. And I feel that in recognizing some of the victims, I cannot stand here and read all 253 for you. But the least we can do is to at least recognize some of the victims from these atrocities here. We have Rangana Fernando, his wife, Danadiri Kurupuachi, and their daughters, Viola, aged 6, Leona, aged 4, and their son, Seth, 11 months. Their entire family has been wiped out. The husband of Anusha Kumari, Dulip Apuhami, 2 children, Dulaki and Vimukti, her sister-in-law, 2 nieces. And Ms. Kumari, she says, you won't believe it, but I had the perfect family. In 24 years of marriage, my husband and I never argued, subhanAllah. All 4 of us slept in the same room. Now I have lost everything. Burlington Joseph Gomez, his wife Chandrika Arumugan, both in their early 30s. 3 sons, Bevan, aged 9, Clavin, aged 6, and baby Avon, also 11 months. The husband's father said, all family, all generation is lost. Teenage son of Pastor Ganesh Tirukumaran. The name of the son is Tirukumaran Shalom Malshia. The son here, the son of the pastor, is the one who welcomed one of the suspected attackers into the church. The suspected attacker into the church. It reminds me of the brother in New Zealand who was the first one to greet the shooter there and to say, Salam, welcome brother. Sharon Santakumar, 12, his younger sister Sarah were buried next to each other the day after. Ramesh Raju, you will remember in New Zealand also we had somebody who tried to tackle down the attacker and urged others to take him down. And he did not shy away from death. And similarly here we have Ramesh Raju, aged 40. He is a building contractor. His family told reporters that his actions helped save lives. He stopped a man with a backpack from entering the church and helping to prevent more casualties. The man was saying, I need to come in, I need to take some pictures or video recording, and he had a backpack and he was kicked out. May Allah reward them for their courage. Zayan Chowdhury, aged 8, son of Sheikh Fadlul Karim Salim of Bangladesh. Anita Nicholson, aged 42, lawyer. Her son, Alex, aged 14, daughter, Annabelle, 11, from the UK. Kieran Shafritz de Zoisa, aged 11. The mother survived with minor injuries. And the father said, we should know what the world lost, what they took from the world. A brilliant mind who won't make it to his 12th birthday. I just have 2 more entries. Rui Lucas, aged 31, on their honeymoon. His wife survived with no injuries. He was an amateur footballer and electrical engineer. The family is in shock. He was from Portugal. And last but not least, among the list here, Ahmed Zain Zafari and Hani Majid Othman, crew members of Saudi Arabian Airlines. The airline says, each has a long tenure supporting the airline. All of us mourn for Ahmed and Hani, who are our brothers for eternity, and our hearts are filled with pain for the indescribable loss that their families are facing. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Indeed, we belong to Allah, and to Allah shall we all be returned. We are here just for a brief period of time, and with this gift that God has given us, let us choose wisely what we wish to do with it, whether we wish to earn good for ourselves or whether we wish to earn evil. And subhanAllah, the scriptures and the examples of the prophets have made very, very clear to us who our role models are. And in Allah, in God alone we trust. And we earnestly pray to Allah that He may grant forgiveness for all of us, for all of humanity, and may Allah take the perpetrators to task. And may Allah grant mercy and grant patience to the families of the victims. This is truly the least that we could do, and also to show where our sympathies lie. Among the perpetrators, the numbers are very few. One in the case of New Zealand, and just a handful in this case here. But the victims are many. And in this tit for tat, I fear for the relations between our communities. And I fear the division that this brings. And I urge all of our communities to work together to diffuse the tensions and to urge one another to do the very basics. Do we not know from our ahadith that one of the basics that we can do to have good friendships, good relations, to ease the hearts, is to greet one another with salam? We have a responsibility to visit our neighbors. Our neighbors are in need. Our community is in need. We cannot have our four walls, our homes, which are built as mansions, and the fences are so tall, although there are no fences, that we do not step across the yard and go greet our neighbors. And I reiterate the theme from a few Jumu'ahs ago, from a few Fridays ago, when we said, yes, there are disasters around you, but the question is not, oh God, what are you doing? The question is you. Given what is happening, what are you doing about it? There are these things happening. There are people, there are entire families who need support. There are families who need charity. There are people who are dying of starvation. It is not God, it is you. What are you doing about it? Your neighbors, they are in need of da'wah. What are you doing about it? That is the question. There are your neighbors, your community members, your local members, your grocery store clerks, the people you meet at your coffee shop. Who will reach out to these people and just have a conversation with them? I urge my brothers and sisters, reach out to your neighbors and say to them, we are deeply sorry about what has happened, and our condolences lie with the families of the victims and with you. Is it okay? Is it okay if we come with church to you on Sunday in solidarity? Talk to them. Show them that you care. Act out what Islam is commanding you to do. Serve God, worship God, and serve the people. And this is part of what we must do. وأقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه فإنه هو الغفور الرحيم. استغفر الله. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. استغفر الله. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى ال محمد كما صليت على ابراهيم وعلى ال ابراهيم انك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى ال محمد كما باركت على ابراهيم وعلى ال ابراهيم انك حميد مجيد. استغفر الله الذي لا اله الا هو الحي القيوم واتوب اليه. اللهم اغفر لحينا وميتنا وشاهدنا وغائبنا وصغيرنا وكبيرنا وذكرنا وانثانا. آمين يا الله. أستغفر الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم وأتوب إليه. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون. أياما معدودات. فمن كان منكم مريضا أو على سفر فعدة من أيام أخر. وعلى الذين يطيقونه فدية طعام مسكين. فمن تطوع خيرا فهو خير له وأن تصوموا خير لكم إن كنتم تعلمون. Subhanallah. Alhamdulillah ya Allah. Once again, Alhamdulillah. Allahumma barik lana fi Rajab wa Sha'ban wa ballighna Ramadan ya Allah. Allahumma ameen. As we approach the holy month of Ramadan, let us gear ourselves together. Let us put a plan together. It is Benjamin Franklin, I believe, who said, if you fail to plan, you are planning to fail. Let us think about this. It takes a lot. It takes preparation to have a successful Ramadan. And let us try to our level best to start those preparations now. You remember last week and the week before, Brother Safwan, he told you, think about Ramadan. Think about it. Keep it in your minds. Yes, think about it. We are approaching. We are so close. We need to do more. We need to do more. We need to make preparations. Inshallah, generally, we hope that you are in a habit of, even earlier, a month before, a month and a half before, 2 months before, you start in anticipation of Ramadan, that you start the Quran again. You start from the very beginning. Perhaps in the month before, to try and finish the Quran one round before Ramadan comes, so that you are absolutely fresh. There are many things that you can do. It is time for action. You need to make changes. And let every one of us look to what is in our lives that we need to improve on. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is kind to you. He gives you reminders constantly. For example, if there are things in your past of which you are ashamed, if there are things in your past which are instances of wrongdoing, in particular to others, okay, Allah will keep reminding you of these injustices that you have done until you resolve them. If you have discord within your family, if you have somebody not speaking with his uncle, somebody not speaking with his cousins, somebody who has promised never to talk to their parents or are shunning away from their parents, instances such as these, use Ramadan as a tool which will help you to destroy these divisions. And among the things that you have to do, you must prioritize. There may be 20 things, 50 things you want to change, but you can't change all of them at the same time. You must have goals. You must set goals for yourself. What do I wish to accomplish this Ramadan? If there are one or two things that I must choose out of everything that I would like, what one or two things do I really want to accomplish by the end of Ramadan? And you must work diligently to make that happen with a sincere intention. It is mentioned in a hadith that this is a beautiful time. This is your chance for forgiveness. This is your chance for mercy. رَبَّنَا بَلِّغْنَا Ramadan. Make the preparations. Ya Allah, I want to memorize Surah Yasin. Prophet Muhammad has mentioned, everything has a heart. The heart of the Quran is Surah Yasin. And so let it be also in the heart of every Muslim. Is that not a command to us to memorize Surah Yasin? If you have not done so already, you can make it a goal. Okay, inshallah, by the end of Ramadan, I want to accomplish this. And every single day, little by little, I will work towards this. And even if I don't make it all the way, to continue, to not stop when Ramadan stops, that is the determining factor in whether you have succeeded or not. The habits, the bad habits, the sins, the habitual problems that we manage, inshallah, to set aside during Ramadan, if you can continue that beyond Ramadan, if you can stick to it, that will be the measure of whether you have succeeded or not. You will be able to see the changes. Just like when people go for Hajj, it is mentioned in a hadith that one of the signs of Hajj Mabrur, I believe that a Hajj that is accepted by Allah, is that when somebody goes for Hajj and comes back, their lives have been transformed within a few days. And their life is not the same. And they can tell the difference. Others around them can tell the difference. This is one of the signs of a Hajj, of a pilgrimage that has been accepted. The same thing for Ramadan. If you truly strive, if you truly work for it, you can make it happen. Abu Hurairah mentions, radiallahu anhu, that Prophet Muhammad said that fasting is a shield. And whoever fasts out of sincerity and puts aside obscene language, and does not raise his voice in anger, then all of his sins will be forgiven. Another hadith, whoever fasts out of sincerity, hoping for reward with Allah, and they do their prayers with sincerity, that all of their sins will be forgiven. Who does not want to have an absolutely clear slate at the end of Ramadan? Let this be your goal. And if there is one thing you can control, people, non-Muslims, they are amazed. You do not eat for 16 hours? Oh my God, that is amazing. If you fast a few days, then the food is very easy. This that Abu Hurairah radiallahu anh has mentioned from Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, guarding your tongue, not speaking ill of anybody else, and not raising your voice in anger. If we can make these things our goals also, these are very important to make our fasting acceptable to Allah. And if we can make these our goals, let us strive towards them. Because when we are fasting, Allah reminds us, hey, you're getting angry. Remember, you are fasting. Which is more important? Do you want to win this argument? Or do you want to keep your fast? And when you're reminded, inshallah, Allah will help you to say, no. I do not want to do this. And then just a few minutes later, the argument doesn't happen, and the issue resolves itself, and you see that you didn't need to raise your voice in the first place. Let us make these our goals. Whatever your goal is, come up with a goal and stick to it and ask help from Allah, and Allah will make it happen. Allahu Akbar. Subhanallah. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. اللهم أعنا على ذكرك وشكرك وحسن عبادتك. ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب. ربنا آتنا من لدنك رحمة وهيئ لنا من أمرنا رشدا. أستغفر الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم وأتوب إليه. ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين واجعلنا للمتقين إماما. رب اغفر لي ولوالدي ولمن دخل بيتي مؤمنا وللمؤمنين والمؤمنات آمين يا الله. أستغفر الله. أقيموا الصلاة. أستغفر الله.
الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
استغفر الله. استغفر الله. Turn your hearts towards Allah and praise that this is your last prayer. Allahu Akbar. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان. فمن شهد منكم الشهر فليصم. ومن كان مريضا أو على سفر فعدة من أيام أخر. يريد الله بكم اليسر ولا يريد بكم العسر ولتكملوا العدة ولتكبروا الله على ما هداكم ولعلكم تشكرون. وإذا سألك عبادي عني فإني قريب أجيب دعوة الداع إذا دعان. فليستجيبوا لي وليؤمنوا بي لعلهم يرشدون. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر.
اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. قل يا عبادي الذين آمنوا اتقوا ربكم للذين أحسنوا في هذه الدنيا حسنة وأرض الله واسعة إنما يوفى الصابرون أجرهم بغير حساب. قل إني أمرت أن أعبد الله مخلصا له الدين وأمرت لأن أكون أول المسلمين. قل إني أخاف إن عصيت ربي عذاب يوم عظيم. قل الله أعبد مخلصا له ديني فاعبدوا ما شئتم من دوني. قل إن الخاسرين الذين خسروا أنفسهم وأهليهم يوم القيامة ألا ذلك هو الخسران المبين. لهم من فوقهم ظلل من النار ومن تحتهم ظلل ذلك يخوف الله به عباده يا عباد فاتقون. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر.